Hello there, this is just a short video to tell you about the troubles that I've been having with my rat and how hopefully I'm going to solve them. Here he is. He's the Savage Gear Rad and he's the 20cm version, so he's only got the single treble underneath here, and I think that's causing a bit of a problem. I've had this lure a few days now and already I've had 7 decent hookups on this but landed none of them. And I think it's because there's just not enough hook availability to land the fish. The 2 hooks on the top of the treble are a little bit hidden by the hips of the lure, so you're really only relying properly on that single hook. And I don't think that's enough. So the plan is to give him a stinger on the top. Now I'm going to do this in a slightly complicated way that involves giving him a bit of a tracheostomy. I'll put a little button magnet at the back here where I can attach a treble, then run a stinger along the back through a hole at the back of his head and out there and attach up to the loop, not the split ring but the loop at the front of the lure. I'm going to do this because if I just run a simple stinger around the side, if the hook at the back slips and comes in at a funny angle, it makes the whole lure twist. But if I've got a nice central hole at the back of his head, then hopefully that shouldn't happen. So the first job is to put the button magnet at the back of the lure. So there we go. There's the little magnet, just a little button magnet that I've put on the back. And that will allow me to sit a treble on the back there. So the next thing to do is to put a hole through the back of the head and out here. Now when I do this, I'm also going to insert the end of a biro, that little clear plastic bit in there, so it will sit like that, because obviously this lure is hollow, so if I just leave the hole there it will fill up with water. So the plan is put that little piece of plastic in, the wire trace will run through the piece of plastic and I can glue this in place to make it nice and watertight. So this is the point where hopefully I don't ruin a very expensive lure. Job done. So the hook trace runs around here and through the hole, through the little piece of plastic that's inside there, and attaches through to the loop just there. So hopefully this means that it won't come in at a funny angle, which could happen if I attach the trace either side of the lure, but there's still plenty of room for the lure to move, so the action through the water shouldn't be affected at all. And it can act just like Savage Gear's other line-through lures. So the hook can release, it will still be hooked, but the weight of the lure should be away from the hook. That's the theory. We'll get it out on the kayak and see whether it works in practice. And we are in on the rat. 2 or 3 casts and a little one has hit it. Not a big fish, but it is still hooked. It's a good sign. Get rid of the other rod. That's not good. Once again, please come off. I'm not sure whose fault that was. Might have been mine, I wasn't expecting it. I'd seen the fish splash, but I really wasn't prepared. The net was still at the back, it wasn't set up, so a bit of faffing around and then it got caught in weed because I wasn't paying attention, so could have been the hook failing or it could have been my fault just not paying attention. Anyway, it's a good start. See whether we can have any joy further up. Right, let's see if the hooks hold this time. Net is much more ready this time. She's gone deep. I think it's a massive fish. I will take whatever I can get. No monster, but hooked on the stinger. So I will take that. That is not too bad at all. Well, he's scratched, he's dented, his tail's kinked, he's now missing an ear, But he is catching fish, which is good news. So yeah, I'm really happy with that as a solution. So much so that he's got a mate. So I'll get cracking on that one, drill a hole in the back of his head, put a magnet in, and hopefully catch a few fish on this one as well. So yeah, if your rat is failing to catch, this seems to be a pretty good solution.